Hello and welcome. All right. So, in our last episode, we finished going ahead and building and rebuilding our hangar. And in this one, it's time to go ahead and put that to use. So, let's stand up and head on over there. All right. So, the first thing that you will notice walking out of our little hab is I did go ahead and just add a little white stripe to my buildings. Just looking to add a little bit more color and a little bit more pattern variation. Just makes them stand out a little bit nicer. All right, now we can come on over here. We'll walk in the door. You can see the hangar is currently closed. All right, and I did eliminate our little test ship from testing our action relays out. Uh, they worked. And now it's time to go ahead and build something to go ahead and help us out. Now, when I started this series, my original hope had been to go ahead and make use of the rover bay and build some sort of excavator. So something that is going to run around on its wheels and then kind of dig into the earth to get all of the materials that I need. However, I've been doing a good bit of testing in creative mode, which, by the way, is something that I would highly recommend before you take something into survival. And so far, all I have managed to do with excavator style builds is flip them, crash them, and have them fail to dig deep enough to actually get the ores that I want. So we're going to go back over here and build the kind of Space Engineer's atmospheric staple, the flying miner. All right, so for this, let me go ahead and start by getting the here. Start by lining up, and then I want to rotate this so that way it's basically directly over this, and place it. There we go. And now when I put it together, you can see that it is immediately ready to link. So for this, let me come on in here, and I'm going to go ahead and call this the min, and that's going to be my tag for all of my mining ship blocks. And now I lock this, and this is why I am tagging things, because as soon as it's locked on that same grid, I can now access everything else, including my rover over there. So, yeah, if you have a big base, tag things. All right, now, so now that this is locked in, the next thing that I want to do is I want to build up. When you are building a flying miner, you need to have engines that are pointing in every direction except for upwards, because gravity can help pull you down. You don't need engines to assist. You need a gyroscope, a cab, and then finally you need to have at least one drill. So for this, I could be going ahead and building some tiny little miner that could probably fit on these kind of 9 squares right here. But that means that I'm going to have to be doing a lot more trips with it, and I don't feel like doing that. So let's go ahead and build a big one. First thing that I want to do is, I'm actually not too sure on the green color, so let's go ahead and grab this black color and paint it black. And now I want to come on over to my connectors, and I want to grab the frame because I want to go up one. Let me first come on in here and grab a bunch of pieces. Alright, so I need to go ahead and grab, say, 50 steel plates, 30 interior plates, and let's also go ahead and grab some construction components. Alright, now then, we're going to go ahead and stick the conveyor frame on, And then the next thing that we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and stick on the conveyor junction. And I want it rotated like so. Alright, so the conveyor junction has four of the 3x3 connection points, and then the remaining two sides have those triple small connection points. So now that we've got that, then I want to go ahead and grab my cargo. And for this ship, I'm going to go ahead and use the modular cargo containers. And I'm going to put four of them on this ship. Just like so. Alright, now nothing's in the build planner, so let's grab the frame, the junction, and all four of our cargo containers. And start welding. Now, one of the things that I could have done here is rather than using the frame and the junction here, I could have replaced that with a single large cargo container, because that still has the 3x3 connection on the bottom and on three of the sides. So that would have been able to connect the connector on the bottom and the modular cargo containers on the sides. But that would have also left a 5 wide gap down the middle. And since thrusters are 3 wide, I wanted to have a smaller gap here, which is why I went with this particular configuration. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add my batteries. The reason for adding my batteries now is that my batteries do need time to charge. So by adding them now, I give them plenty of time to charge up. I'm going to add 3 batteries on each side, which might be overkill. Testing shows that 4 batteries wasn't quite enough when you were fully loaded, but 6 might be a bit too much. But I don't have to worry about that. So let's go ahead and build these up. And then alright, so now that the batteries are on, the next important thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to come on in here. I'm going to come to my control panel, and I'm going to tag each of these batteries. And I will also tag my cargo containers, because why not? And you can see I've got the connector, batteries, and cargo containers. And now I'm going to take all these batteries, put them in a group, and now I'm going to take them off of the toolbar, stop showing them in the terminal because I don't need to see them, and then I'm going to change all of them to recharge. So this means that by the time I am building my ship, I should, if I'm lucky enough, have enough power to go ahead and take it out for a test drive. Yeah, we'll see. So batteries are in place, so now I want to go ahead and add my cockpit. Now for the cockpits, we can do the cab, the normal cockpit, flush cockpit, which would look like this. The freighter cockpit is not going to connect up properly. I could put the industrial cockpit on, just kind of right here. However, if I do that, then I'm going to run into a few issues with, like, can I go ahead and fit as many drills as I want on the ship? But it is still one of my favorite cockpits. And then finally, the cab cockpit, I need to put right here if I want the things to connect properly. So, what do I want to do? This one would be connecting right here. This one sticks out a little bit further. And relevant with the cab or the industrial cockpit is I've got 2 connection points on the back and then 1 up top. Um, you know what, let's go with the cab. And then, so the cab sticks out 1 further from the modular cargo. And what I want to do is I want to go ahead and stick a drill kind of right under the cab. Which means that I either need to go ahead and run a line up from this connector here, or I need to put a sorter on the bottom of this and then connect the drill on front. For this particular build, let's go ahead and put that sorter on, or conveyor converter, I should say. We're going to place that right there, and then let's also go ahead and place a pair of conveyor converters on right here. And now let me also go ahead and grab the small conveyor tube, and that is lined up how I want it to. There we go. Put all that in my build planner. There we go. So now I've got all the connections that I need. And now I just need to go ahead and grab my drills. So the drills use the small connection type. And they've got 3 on the back, whether you do the drill type 2 or the drill type 1. It's just an aesthetic change. Go with whichever one that you think looks cooler, which I personally like the drill type 2, but do be aware that this is a DLC block. And there we go. That's how I'm going to go ahead and configure my drills on the front of my ship. I could also go ahead and put another pair of drills connected to these on the side, but I don't see a compelling reason to. Alright, so now that I've got all that, let's come back here. Get all my pieces, and okay, so my drills are all in place now. So I've got my cargo, my battery, my drills, and my cockpit. So now I need my engines, I need my gyros, and then I need my antenna or detector and action relay, so that way I can then go ahead and get out of here. So let's go ahead and start with those engines. So I've got the atmospheric thrusters, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and place 3 atmospheric thrusters here and here. And then I'm going to grab the large flat atmospheric thruster and place that on the outside of that. So this is sticking out a little bit from the drills, which if I went ahead and put that other row of drills on, would mean that the drills would be wider than the ship. But as it is, just, rotate. So, yeah. But definitely a strong argument for putting even more drills on this ship. Alright, so now I have 12 of these downward thrusters, 2 of these bigger thrusters for left and right. I need front and back, and then I'm also going to go ahead right here and grab these atmospheric thrusters. So I want 3 of these. There we go. Yep. And then let's go ahead and put... Now I can't put these any further forwards because this would be directly under these thrusters, which would then mean that they would blow up. But I could put them up here on top if I so desired. But symmetry tells me, let's do it this way. There we go. And now I just need to go ahead and grab a lot of pieces. All right. Now let's go ahead and grab the pieces for that. And we will just go ahead and finish putting this together. Am I out of motors? Oh no, I'm out of motors. Um, well, on that bombshell, let me come back once I've got enough motors. All right, and already done a little bit of mining. Coming out for my second trip to pick up materials. And I figured I might as well just show you guys how I've been doing it before I got the mining ship. I've got a little iron mine right over here. And this nice lovely rover is more than enough to go ahead and bring all my, or carry a few loads of ore for me. And see the sun is now hiding behind some of these mountains and cliffs. Alright, so I'm gonna come on over here. Whoop, a little bit too close. Alright, park it. And as you can see, this is the results of some of my excavation attempts, because I have tried it in creative and survival. But as you can see, as we come down, we've got to go a little bit deeper to get to the iron. So that's why I haven't been using the excavator. So let me go back to hand mining, and I'll come back. And hopefully when we come back, I will have enough iron for those motors. All right. And now we are pulling up to our base. Gotta get ready to back into the garage. And wait for the hangar doors to open. There we go. All right. And now we are in range. All hooked up, and you can also see the little flying miner right over there. And now we'll just wait and see if I've got enough ore to finish those motors. All right, and it's been a little bit, but as we can see when I come back, hopefully nearly 500 motors is enough to finish the ship, so we will find out. Let's go ahead and pull this out of our build planner, get the pieces we need for this. There we go. All right, and now get all the pieces that we need here. All right. Should have all the pieces we need for this now. There we go. All right, so now we have all of our engines. Our batteries are fully charged. Um, what are we missing? All right, we need the gyroscopes. And then we also need our antenna, ore detector, and action relay. So let's go ahead and start by grabbing those gyros. Not entirely sure how that oriented itself, but I want it like this. There we go. And now let's go ahead and grab these components, and let's go ahead and stick the ore detector here, the antenna here, and the action relay right here. All right, there we go. So technically, this is enough for the ship. I would like to go ahead and add some more greebling to make it look nicer, and also to prevent me from just like say ramming the side of the ship into the side of the walls of my mines, and blowing things up. Totally have never done that, by the way. Totally. You believe me, right? All right. So let's go ahead and get in this ship. And now it's time to test it out. So we have the batteries all fully charged. Now let's come on in here, and I want to go ahead and find my connector to start with, the G menu. All right, so it's the min connector. So I want to put this down for switch lock, and well, I was supposed to turn the batteries back on first. All right, groups, batteries. I want to recharge on off. Since I'm here anyways, let's go ahead and grab my drills, stick them here, and then let me find my action relay. I'm going to stick this right here to 1 and say open, and it cuts me off there, so open hand, and then 2 to go ahead and close hand. All right, now let's go ahead and put those batteries off recharge. Woo! And now let's use that action relay to open the hangar. To open the hangar. The hangar is not opening. Um, clothes hanger? I have the antenna on. Let's try this again. Set channel 1. Open hang. Why is it not opening? Alright, let's go ahead and put this back on and set it to recharge again. And come check out our action relays. Set up actions. Huh? I must have accidentally deleted the hangar door group. Okay. Let's find. There we go. Why did I name that all HAR? Anyways, it would be HAN. All right, and while I'm here, let's just go ahead and do a quick rename because that totally would never have happened. Um, anyways, once I'm done with that, then I need to set up my action relay again. Alright, so that's all that. So now I need to come back in here to this action relay. I don't know why it's all HAR. I will fix that later. Set up actions, groups, garage, HAN, hangar doors. And I want it open. And then set up actions, groups. I want this closed. Alright. Now, let's try this again. Open. There we go. Alright. Woo! And got a lot of upwards thrust. Gotta maneuver it just a little bit to make sure that we fit out nice and easy. And it's dark out. So, before I go any further, let me come back in here and add a few lights. There we go. Alright, so where do I need lights? I want some spotlights on the sides here. Let me come in here. And then I also want to go ahead and grab a bunch of interior lights. So, stick some interior lights on these sides. Not sure if I can reach that one, but I will check later. So that should be enough to go ahead and fully illuminate my sides. There we go. And now let's go ahead and stick a pair of spotlights on here. And figure out how I got myself stuck in here. There. All right, trying this again. And then, let me also go ahead and stick some more on the sides here. One there and one there. There we go. All right. Now let's try this again. Oop. Nope, nope, nope. Oop. There we go. Woo! All right. And now let's come on in here to my lovely control panel. And I'm just going to blast the radius of that up, lower the intensity some so I don't hurt my eyes as much. And then let's also change this to more of a interior light color. There we go. And now I can fly back on over to my mine and see how it performs. Alright, so when I'm fully up to speed, it does take a minute to slow down. And now I can come on down here and just slowly lower myself down. And once I'm in range, we can go ahead and see that mine. Now, one of the things that I could have put on but didn't is I could have put on some sorters and ejectors to eject stone. However, personally, I feel that stone is perfectly fine if I'm just trying to gather mass materials. So I'm not ejecting the stone right now. I reserve the right to go ahead and change my mind later at any opportunity. So now I'm just going to go ahead and do a bit of mining, and I will come back and show you guys what it looks like after I've been doing it for a little bit. Alrighty, so if we come over here and take a look, we can see that my miner is basically full. All the cargo containers are full. I've got some ore still in my drills, and my connector and my cockpit are also full. So now it's time to slowly maneuver out of the hole. Whoa, 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 whoa. Nope, 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 nope. Stop, 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 stop. Stop. Please stop. And I need to go ahead and put this into terrain clearing mode to try and get out. So, whee! And I want to straighten out. Back up a little bit. There we go. Uh, there we go. All right. Whew. All right. And carefully raise up. So as you can definitely tell, I do not have enough thrust side to side or front to back to be able to just fly. I do need to make sure that I am mostly vertical. All right, there we go. I am now out. Perfect. So let's go up a little bit. A little bit more, make sure I don't run into any trees. I hear they hurt. Alright. And to hopefully nobody's surprise, this thing handles like a little bit of a pig when it's fully laden. Okay. Now I need to come on over here. And it looks like I never closed the hangar doors. So, there. Tested the action relay. Yes, the hangar doors do close. Perfect. So now that we've closed them, let's open them back up. Okay. And we can see that this one particular trip has used up somewhere around half my battery. And just hovering takes a good bit of battery power. So don't want to go ahead and do that for too long. Otherwise, I will lose power and then fall in a undignified fashion. Ask me how I know. Totally not experience. Totally. Alright. But relevant here is I do have enough thrust that if I start going down, my thrusters will be able to stop me relatively quickly. Which, when I was doing some testing with only those 3 large thrusters in the middle, once I started going down, they were not enough to stop me. So, I want to kind of center myself over my hangar, and then go on down. There we go. And as we can see, it is a rather large ship, and it barely fits. There we go. Whew, made it in. Now for step 2, lining it up to the docking port. Alright, now that I'm in though, let's go ahead and get the rain off of us. And close those hangar doors. Whew, there we go. And now I can lock this and then set my batteries to recharge. And it is time to go ahead and empty everything. So one of the other things that I will probably do in a future episode is go ahead and set up a bunch of sorters that will pull ore directly into some ore-specific containers. But I have not done that yet, so I have to do that by hand. Something for a future episode. Alright, but as we can see, right now this ship is fully capable of flying. It does what I need it to do, but it is very much bare bones. So what I'm going to do is, between episodes, I will go ahead and I will greeble this and paint it and try and make it look pretty, and show you guys what it looks like at the start of the next one. If you watched all the way to the end, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the future.